Here we go again. Alright, just a moment. We're going to switch over. Okay. This is a 2-second and the gain's at 85. So what we want to do is put the gain at 20 like we had on the DF16. There we go, and we got 2-second exposure here. I'm going to touch up the focus a little bit. So just wait a few moments. I'll be right back. We're going to touch up the focus. Focus, I always use the zoom. that seems to be close enough for focus. And just going to go an overview, make sure everything is reset to where it's supposed to be. Yeah, the histogram's back to 0255, so we're not going to touch that. And its slow binning is at 1, that's good. That's what we want. And the stacking feature is disabled, yep. And let's go back to the color adjustment here where the gamma is. Alright, that's default. We're good to go. So this is 2-second exposure at the moment. With gain 20, same thing as what we had it set up on the DS16C. To be honest with you, it's quite similar in some way, as long as the gain's at 20. But the beauty of this camera is the gain is workable. So what we're going to do is increase the exposure to 5 seconds. And see what we're going to get at this point. It'll make a big difference. Okay, this was the 16. I'm going to close this guy and, oh crap. I hit the wrong button there, folks. Hang on a minute. There you go. That's the guy we want off. That's already saved anyways. Okay, 28.5. Alright, we're good to go. We're going to get an image here in a moment from the DS10C. There we go. And what we're going to do is fit the window. And we've got another satellite and junk and whatever else that there is out there. Now the gain is very important. This type of sensor that we use in the DS10 obviously has the privilege of having so much more gain. And that's what makes and breaks the performance for live EAA. So I'm going to bump that up to about 55 for gain, and let's see what we're going to get at 5-second exposure. It's like night and day. It's there's no question about it. Let me swing the scope on M57. Hopefully it'll go there, and I'll be right back. Actually, we're going to reduce the exposure down to 2 seconds or so. Okay. Flashlight flying on the floor. Oh, dead center, not bad at all. Okay, we're going to go to another target. Swing the door. Here goes another satellite or space junk. This is pretty impressive to see M82 and M81 in the same field of view. And I must admit that it's quite attractive to look at. So what we're going to do, we're going to bump up the exposure to about 12 seconds for that and see what kind of result it's going to give us. Okay, so what you're looking in the background is light pollution from giant tiger. I'm starting to hate these guys. So this reddish background that you're seeing, that's what it is. It is infrared reflected from their parking lot, and fortunately, we're not directly towards them, but we're quite close to them as far as where the scope is pointing, and that's why you're seeing this reddish background. And for that, we are going to go to color adjustment to a feature called gamma. So increase the gamma at 1.38, and we've got 12-second exposure here at the moment. We do see some lanes in M81. This is pretty good to pick up in one field of view. There we go. This is what the gamma is going to do. It's going to give us a nice background that we're looking for. And this is very, very interesting to look at. Here's a feature that I wouldn't mind observing here for a moment. Wow, this is cool. Just 12-second exposure. I have to say the DS10C is the winner as far as sensitivity is concerned, but I'm surprised to see the field of view being pretty close to where they are, and it's to be expected. The DS16C has 22 millimeter, this one has 21.8, so it's very, very close. There is a small difference, but I mean it's minor. You got a lot more data transfer with the DS16 compared to the DS10, so there is advantages and disadvantages. The major advantages of the DS16C is the resolution. I mean, it's pinpoint. The background's nice, it's very, very pinpoint. So somebody serious into astrophotography, this definitely is a camera to go for, or they want to do EAA. I still suggest to use a focal reducer. You need to get the system more sensitive. But for general EAA, the DS10 is obviously the winner here because of the sensitivity it has. Okay, let me increase the zoom, and I'm going to swing this towards this guy here. It's not the Exterminator performance, but I tell you, it's not far behind. And the reason I say that is I'm using an 8-inch. This is an 8-inch scope with a focal reducer. So now it just zoomed in. So the stars are going to be bigger. Definitely the stars are smaller on the DS16C. It's a lot more pinpoint, more refined, a lot more refined. But it also requires more adjustment, such as a dark field is a must at one point. Once you got your image good, then the dark field can be applied, and also to run it on the binning mode too. So what I'm going to do here is back off here, back to fit the window. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to engage like I did the other night, the digital binning. I really like this, using it on this camera. Just hang on a sec. We're gonna stop the exposure for a moment, and we go to the digital binning 2 using the DS10C. And of course, on top, we're gonna come here and fit the window again. Okay, and yeah, that's what I expected. This is 12 seconds. It's a little bit overexposed. So we're going to go back to video mode and at 2 seconds. So instead of 12 seconds, no binning, this is 2 seconds video mode, binning. And of course, the gain's still at 55. This is remarkable. 2-second exposure with the binning mode on. Let me increase the gain here. I'm going to put it back at 55. Hang on. We had it nice at 55. I will increase from 2 seconds to 5-second exposure instead of in the video mode. I'm not using the trigger mode. A few minutes ago I was up to 12 seconds, but this is 5 seconds. Everything's overexposed. Nice. Now we get to bring the gain down to about maybe 20 or so. And let me see what it's going to give us. If the gain's too high, you're going to pick up warm pixels and hot pixels in the background. So you got to watch for the gain. Let's go to gain 30, 32 actually. We still have a red background. This is like pollution in my neck of the woods. It's very unfortunate. But that's okay. Here's what I'm going to do next. Now we've got this binning going. We want to use everything we can to have a short exposure. And what I'm going to do now is engage a live stack. And before I do that, I'm going to go to the sharpen. Use the sharpness to 400%. Mosquitoes, and we're going to do about 5 frame or so averaged. Okay, so we've got 75% view. There you go. Here's one refresh. One frame just got laid out, and we're going to observe here the ability of the average stack about the background noise, how well it does the job. There's 2 frames, so this graininess is gone. Again, I have to remind everybody about progressive scan. That means it's grabbing the pixel all at once. And any sensor, whatever it's a CMOS or CCD, that's progressive scan, will give you a graininess in there. And it's a normal artifact, if you wish. That's just the result of the way it's being scanned. Now, compared to an interlace sensor, which has no graininess at all, interlace has more sensitivity and a lot less noise, and it's only available in CCDs. And these are in the Mallin universe. The Mallin Exterminator, Extremes, and all of these are interlaced sensor. That's why they're so sensitive. The next time we're going to broadcast, we're going to use the universe and do comparison with the DS10. Of course, the DS10 is going to win hands down. It's a back illuminated, so that makes it nearly 90% efficient right there. And then you've got the sensitivity plus the specific camera also has one advantage that not many has on the market, if any, and it's called the conversion gain. When you put some high conversion gain, which this is what it's at, wow, the amount of oh, we are not getting the full view here. Hang on. Something is definitely wrong here. Okay, now you're getting the full view. Alright, sorry about that, folks. Nevertheless, as I was saying about the conversion gain, the S10 has it, and the AG1.2C has it. And this is dependent on the actual sensor itself. To combine the 80 conversion, the analog and the digital conversion together at the preamp stage. Matt, your question, I just read the question. If you go to the video mode, most of the functions are done through the video itself inside the camera. As soon as you go into trigger mode, it's using the software. So the exposure on this guy here is 5 seconds. There's no dark frame taken, and we certainly could benefit from it, because we're starting to see a lot of warm pixels. So if someone would take the time to do a nice dark frame or a dark field correction, do 3 or 4 of them at various exposures, such as 2, 5, 10, 15, and 20 seconds maximum, and you save them, and they could be reused, the result would be spectacular. That means the red you're seeing now would be gone. Also the warm pixels, hot pixels be gone completely. And but not the graininess though. It won't take away the graininess. To do that, you need to do a live stack. Okay, we're going to bring down the sharpness back to 0. We're going to stop the stacking now. And there you go, hang on. There, this is a plain Jane 5-second exposure. I just wish the background wasn't that red because of the light pollution I got here from Giant Tiger, their giant parking lot and giant buildings. Okay, I'm going to put back the gamma at the default, and you're going to see the result of this. It's going to be quite different. Hang on, there you go. This is the gamma here at default. What I like to do is adjust the gamma to have a little bit darker background. So instead of using the histogram, use the gamma. You get to dial in exactly what you want to see. And there's also the contrast as well. You got the brightness you can play with. I usually those leave intact, but the contrast on occasion, I'll adjust it. And this is what I just did. I just adjusted the contrast. So we're getting rid of, if you wish, of the red light pollution. You can also go, see, I got the red at -13, the green is all the way down, and the blue's fixed. So the red's already lowered, and simply to avoid this light pollution, which sucks. With Giant Tiger, new beautiful building that they've built not far from here, but they were unaware of the light pollution that they're creating. And according to them, they have obeyed all the laws of the province of Ontario and the township, and they will not do anything about the light pollution. In fact, they were pretty insulted that I called it light pollution, because they don't cause pollution, these guys, so as they say. And I soon realized that we're going to be dealing with a tougher cookie than I ever imagined. So the next thing to do is just let it be, let them do the light pollution, and eventually I hope somebody in the newspaper locally will pick that up and offer some alternative to the lighting that they're using to light up their flags, which spots all the way well over 2,000 feet into the air. Okay, so I think we've done the test I needed to do tonight, and a very, very productive evening. I had to compare both cameras. I still say the pinpoint stars is definitely the 16. The DS16 has this beautiful, smooth image, and the pinpoint stars are just amazing. But for sensitivity, wow, the DS10C wins hands down over any other cameras at the moment. And I'm really glad that we did this productive evening. I'm going to lower the gain a little bit here to see what type of result we're going to get. Yeah, it's not going to be as good, obviously. Bring up the gain at 20. Yeah, 20 gives us a smooth image. It's not bad. With a DS10C, you got to find the gain and the exposure adjustment. They got to be well synchronized together. And this is still 5-second exposure. Let me see if I could touch up the gamma a bit with the gain set the way it is, and hopefully we should be able to get a nice, nicer background. There you go. We still see that red tint in the background, which is caused by the light pollution. So at this point, not much that we could do. Okay, folks, it's 11:15. We're going to be pulling the plug, and what I would like to, oh, that's right, take out the focus reducer. Okay, you see I'm going to have to go on an object here for that, and I'm going to choose M51, and the reason is it's pointing towards the light pollution, and it's a big object. Alright, hang on, let me get up and swing the scope on M51 if it makes it there. I'll be right back, hang on. Okay, I forgot to turn down the exposure here. We're going to bring that back down to 2 seconds. So here's the light pollution directly from Giant Tiger. Isn't that awful? Wow. Just horrible to look at, folks. It's totally unacceptable. I move away from Ottawa just to get darker skies, and then big companies like Giant Tiger comes up and set up shop, which I don't object at, but the light pollution is completely unacceptable. Okay, here's M51. I'm going to try to put this dead center. Now with the focus reducer gone, we're going to be able to actually probably get rid of that light pollution entering on such a wide field. So let me center this object really, really carefully. This is important. Okay. Just give me a moment. We'll see if we can reach focus. I may have to remove the rings from the focuser. And for that, I need to set up my flashlight where I can see what I'm doing here. All right, here we go. Okay, I need to pull the camera out a little bit. Otherwise I would have to install a ring, and oh, I'm right on the edge. Okay, hang on a sec. I got an idea. I'm gonna put a spacer on a 1.25 inch adapter to back the camera out, so I don't have to install another ring on the focuser. It's a little bit of work to do. So just bear with me for a moment, folks. We're gonna do this a little bit easier way. The camera's not perfectly pushed in all the way. It's kind of hanging right on the edge of the focuser. So let me try to get a star somehow that I could do the focus. I'm fairly close focus, I guess, in a way. I just did it quickly. Now for this, we're going to need a lot of horsepower because this is F8. We're not going to go to second exposure anymore, and against 46, we're not going to change that. We are going to go to the trigger mode, and we're going to pump this up to about 15 seconds. Is my estimate that we're going to need to get a view at F8. So this is an F8, but then again, the camera's just dangling at the end of the focuser. It's not pushed in all the way. Wow. Okay. Let's lower the gain a little bit. Well, we don't need that much. I wouldn't think so. That means we could probably go down to 10 seconds. Yeah, let me go down to 10 seconds, and we're going to lower the gain from 46 down to about 30 at F8. Wow, this is not bad at all, actually. It's better than I thought. So this thing is sensitive. To be able to do that in such short exposure, F8. It might be worth for me to install the spacer on the focuser to get the proper focus. Wow. I'm right in light pollution. Again, you can see by the background. The crazy background's red, and this is light pollution from Giant Tiger. This sucks. Maybe I should switch back to M57, which gave us a good idea. Oh man, I hate this. Let me figure out here what we could do for this light pollution. It's definitely a major issue at this end. Alright, let me see if I could go back to M57. Hopefully I'll be able to get it dead on. And that way we'll be able to compare a little bit better. We're going to go back down to 2 seconds. I'm going to increase the gain a bit more, and I'm going to swing the scope on N57. I think it's right above me, actually. Hopefully it's not going to do a meridian flip. It just might. Okay, what's going on with the mount tonight? It decides to function. Isn't that something else? Okay. Okay, now that the mount is warmed up, it seems to work okay. So, now we do have a little bit bigger image scale of M57. Focus is not banging on, but let me see what we could do for that. Just hold on there, folks. Yeah, this is 2-second exposure, by the way, at f8. And okay, now I'm looking at, I believe is, I see 1296 as well at 2 seconds. Wow. I'm going to bump this up to 5 seconds. We've got some light pollution issues here, obviously, of very thin clouds where the infrared's being reflected on. That's why the background's so red. Yeah, this is 5 seconds. It's overexposed at f8. This is just insane. Wow. And it's still a quite decent field of view. I'm going to lower the gain a little bit at 5 seconds to give us what we need to get a better background. The focus is not 100%. Yeah, let me work on focus here a little bit, folks. Okay, now we're going to see the image move at every 2 seconds. And this is caused by tracking error. Okay, let me see if we could lower the exposure a little bit more. It'll be easier for me to focus. I'm going to increase the gain a bit to make the bottom star a little bit brighter. Alright, I'm going to get up and go at the back. Okay, I think it's as close as we're going to get. Okay, now this is only little under 2 seconds. Yeah, 1.7 second exposure. And let's put back the image here. We're going to increase the exposure to 3 seconds, and we're going to lower the gain. Here's my next step that I would like to do. 3.3 second at the moment. I'm going to bring it up to 4 and see what it does. I just need to get a little bit more brightness in the image. Okay, there we go. That'll do it. The gain's at 29, and I'm going to engage a stacking of 4 frame. Oh, before we do that, I am going to activate the sharpness slightly. 300, and we are going to start the process of stacking average to lower the background noise. So let's see what kind of result we're going to get. This is 4 second exposure. It sounds terrible when you're talking about exposure, and here's everybody going for hours on end to it. And here we're doing it in a few seconds, literally a handful of seconds. 4 second exposure. This is quite remarkable. Now I should have taken a dark frame or a dark field because the hot pixels, the warm pixels are starting to show up as the camera warms up during the evening. So this is where you need that a dark frame subtraction. That would take all of that out completely. Yeah, you know, that's probably what happened. Yeah, come to think of it, maybe they were sitting on the mountain, making it go out of balance, and that's why it wouldn't point at the right place. But right now, wow, the scope's been going exactly where we wanted to go. I'm not complaining, so I don't want to jinx it. Okay, this is pretty nice. We got enough frames that are stacked. And what I like to do is, well, we do see the ring quite nicely. But do we ever have a lot of warm pixels right now? So the dark frame, the dark field would have cured all of that. And it looks like I'm out of focus still a little bit. Stars are a little soft, so focusing at f8 is a lot more crucial, obviously, but that's okay. Let me stop the stacking for a moment. The average stacking. We're going to go back to the normal window. Here's another satellite, and I'm going to bring down the sharpen and give us a nice clean image. We still have light pollution in there. We could tell by the red background. This is a 4 second shot. And the gain's at 29, so it's quite low. Good night, John. Well, oddly enough, we get to see the mount's tracking okay so far. There is some movement in there, but nonetheless, it is doable to do it F8 and even F10. Very, very remarkable. Yes, I am. Digital binning is active at 2. Is it? Yes. Oh, is -2. Yes, sir, it is. The digital bidding is at 2 at the moment, and you would need that to be at F8 and F10 or F13 on a Max-Sutov type of a telescope. So long focal ratio is not a problem with this camera. It's obviously sensitive enough, and then some. I just hate the pollution I got in the background there, red. As we're getting closer to midnight, it seems it's getting worse somehow. There's a red background to it, and that could be caused by thin clouds reflecting the infrared lighting around here, especially from Giant Tiger. I wouldn't be surprised. And in fact, the beam of their flags, the lighting system of their flag is right in the path of M57. I can see it from the shutter of the dome here, so we are looking directly into it. Oh boy, how lovely. Let me try another target. I think, just wondering about something here. Hang on a sec, folks. I don't know if we're going to get it up yet. I'm going to try it out. Hang on a second. Let me try this target here for a moment. The one thing I need to do, though, is stopping. There we go. Forgot to do that, and I'm going to look at the map where it's going. Okay, this is pretty low to the horizon, and I'm pointing towards Canada Custom. I'm barely clearing the trees, and my dome's in the way. Observatory number 1 is in the way, so I don't know if this is going to work, folks. Just bear with me for a moment. This object's really low to the horizon. It's called M76, and it barely, it's right on my dome, actually. Oh, now it is. Oh, boy. Okay, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm pointing right in the dome. I'm going to try something else. Hang on. Okay, we're going directly to the light pollution of Gardner Spring, New York. I don't know if the scope's going to go there or not. I'm giving it a workout tonight. know. Okay. Well, that's cool. Apparently it went there. So, okay, wow. The scope's going well tonight at f8. That's remarkable. For a change, it's working. Let's go to 5 seconds. I'm directly in Ogdensburg, New York, light pollution right now. And there's the Eagle Nebula with no filters or anything like that. And this is a 5-second shot. I gotta lower the gain a bit. Oh, bring it back up again. There, we get to see the eagle in there. It's not too bad at all. This is a 5-second shot. Would I dare to go more than that? Probably, but the light pollution at Ogdensburg, New York is pretty nasty. And I'm pointing directly at them right now, and it's very, very low to the horizon. Between my barn at the back here, the shop, and trees, and the port of Johnstown. So here's 10-second shot. That's not bad at all, actually. Gain's at 34, and I think I might be able to recuperate this with the gamma. Wow, I can't believe f8. This thing is working really, really well for f8, folks. I'm even more impressed here with this camera for the sensitivity and the efficiency mainly. Here it is. All right. I got the gamma adjusted here a little bit. And what I would like to do maybe is stack a few of them. 5 frames should be enough, I think. Oh, this is pretty cool. And how about if we do a little bit of contrast as well? This is no filter at all, and this is 10 seconds. Alright, this is the most sensitive on the market. I'm not afraid to say so. The amount of gain that we've got in this camera is out of this planet, and the features of the software. This is no filter. This is pointing directly into Ogdensburg, New York. And let me tell you, M16 here is maybe about 20 degrees up, if that. And I'm running at f8. So this is pointing directly into the light pollution of Ogdensburg, New York. And this is an 8-inch f8. It's VRC8. I have to admit, folks, this is very impressive. Very, very impressive. You haven't heard a thump yet. That's because my mouth is still hooked up on my jaw, on my head. The exposure is 10 seconds. 10-second exposure, and the gain is set at 34. That's correct. So we've got 10-second exposure in the trigger mode, and the gain is at 34.34. That's correct. 34 out of 160. So it's fairly low, and I've got the binning set at number 2. For f8, this is extremely impressive. Because it's a big chip. It's a big diameter, Jason. The chip measures 21.8, I believe it is, millimeter diagonal. It's a huge chip. The size of it is huge. And that's why you're getting that. But this is easy to fix. If you want to get an narrower field of view, It's easy to do. There you go. Here, you recenter this, and Bob's your uncle. There you go. Done. Okay, hang on. How about if we go a bit more? There. I wish I would have taken a dark field subtraction earlier, but I did not expect to get this result, to be honest with you folks. Wow. This is F8 on an 8-inch. This is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Well, Jason, I have a funny feeling that you may not have the right resolution set. The resolution of the camera, you got 4 different choices in there, and the default resolution is 3704 by 2778. But you're jumping from 8-inch to 11-inch, so you're going to get more magnification. Here, I'm going to put the image back to where it is. Even if you got 11-inch f10, for example, I estimate that you're going to get something like this, maybe a little bit less. In fact, I would say about like that on your 11-inch f10. Approximately, of course. There's definitely something that's not right there, Jason. This is so easy to use. Anybody could use this. Unless there's something wrong with the computer. And I'm using just an average Joe computer here. It's an i5 processor, 16 gig memory, and that's it. And it doesn't even have an external video card. It's using the onboard video card, believe it or not. Oh, this is nice. Yes, I am. Matt, yes. What I did to the computer is what Doug Murphy has suggested to do in the video that I posted, and he posted as well. I pretty well did what these guys said in there. I shut everything off under the two. One of them is privacy, I believe it is, and the other one is system. I shut everything off. Everything is off. I don't want Windows to track me. I don't want Microsoft to know where I am. I don't want Microsoft to know what I'm looking at. I don't want Microsoft to know what I'm using the computer for. And all of that stuff, I don't use any Skype or anything like it. It's so easy because you get to shut them all off. If you want them back on, it's very easy. You just go back to the process and turn everything back on. It's right in front of you. So it's quite easy. But I'm just mesmerized here by the result we're getting here. Yes, I did, Jack. Actually, I could turn that off if you wish. There you go. It's turned off completely now, so there's not much of a difference at all, to be honest with you. Oh, this is something else, I tell you. Nice field of view, I have to admit. Okay, since it's working so well, the mount. I don't know if I could open this into another window, Jason. I don't know. Hang on. Oh. Okay, the address is not understood, it says here. I cannot access it. Okay, hang on, let me see that. Okay, all I get is Google here. No, it keeps bringing me back to Google. I cannot access your site. Anyways, I'll have to check that out. There's no image. But hang on, Jason. What I'm doing is live here, and we're just using an 8-inch at f8 for experiment's sake. And the light pollution that I have here is just phenomenal. I'm not going after a pretty picture. What I'm going at is an observable image at f8, and I'm doing the test here. I'm not trying to prove who's got the nicest image. That's not what I'm after right now. The basic settings that I'm telling the people here is to get people going with it. Get the camera going in the simplest way possible, and after that they're on their own. So obviously you've achieved that very well, and I'm glad for you. But in this case here, for me, is to keep things as simple as possible and as easy as possible for people to understand. You got to understand that. Okay, I can't go on the email when I'm broadcasting, Jason. My internet's not quick enough. This is DSL, and it's going to crash again. So I'll go take a look at it later. I really want to thank you for sending the image. Jason, I'm shocked that you like the camera. I never thought I'd hear that from you, so I'm very glad. It is very, very sensitive, especially if you're going to engage the digital binning tool and get that gain and exposure set up right. The results are just amazing. I'm not one to go for long exposure. I want to keep the tracking error as short as possible, and I like using very short exposures. For me, that's all what it is. This is what it's all about. So, Jason, would you say this is the best camera you tried so far? Because I know you have a lot of them in your possession. And I'd like to know what you thought about it. And I know you've been testing that quite a lot for a very long time. You had Mallin since the beginning, just about, and other brands of cameras as well. And I certainly would like to hear your comment on it. You could send it in the email if you wish. But by far, this is the ultimate. The CMOS sensors, this is the ultimate. And back illuminated as well. This is just incredible. Yeah, for video TVs, the Exterminator or the Extreme is unbeatable. But for digital view, the DS10 is unparalleled. I have to agree with you on that. Totally. It's two cameras that are the most sensitive right now. There's no question about it. Two different technology and two different purposes too. What I'm enjoying here tonight is this field of view at f8, and to be able to capture this at f8. Wow, this is unheard of. You need a lot of efficiency and sensitivity. Back illuminated will give us the efficiency, and the rest will give us the sensitivity that we need, especially with the gain. Especially with the conversion gain set at high and the what do you call it? The digital bidding. I'm going to swing to another target that's not too far from Augsburg, New York. Okay, where's my flashlight? Keeps going down on the ground. Hang on, I'm going to switch over to another target, and therefore I'm going to change the exposure time to 5 seconds, so I could actually see the object. Oh, wait a minute, this is 5-second exposure. There it is. All right, good. My mistake, my bad. That's been all the mosquitoes that sucked the blood out of me. Yeah, this is 5-second exposure with gain 66. Holy Moses, this is better than 10 seconds. Okay. Let me see if I can get another target in there. Okay, I gotta reduce the exposure 2 seconds. Okay, hang on a sec. This is, we're having quite interesting results here at F8. This is M17 at 2-second exposure, gain 66 out of 160. This is 2-second exposure, folks. Okay, let's bring that up to 5 seconds. Okay, here's 5-second exposure of M17. This is pretty neat. Very interesting. So again, I just got to remind everyone, this is a VRC8, so that's just a 8-inch telescope at f8. I need to change the credential on top. There we go. Yeah, this is just a 5-second exposure, so it's not bad at all. We're going to lower the gain a little bit. I just wish I would have taken a dark field subtraction. Tomorrow night's supposed to be nice, I think. If it is, no, there's no stacking in the moment. None at all. This is just straight 5-second exposure. The gain's at 53. I do have the gamma and the contrast adjusted. Let me reset the default for the gamma and contrast, And that'll give you an idea of the light pollution I got here. There you go. See that white background? This is all light pollution stuff. So by lowering the contrast a little bit and the gamma, there we go. You're going to see a good difference here. There, it kind of tame things down. So contrast and gamma adjustment is the basic things you need to touch up here. There's no stacking in a moment, but if you want, I'm going to add one up right now. So I'll stack 4 images, average, but I don't detect too much noise. It's quite reasonable, I guess. Yes, Matt, binning 2. I'm using binning 2 here tonight. For F8, it would be highly recommended. Okay, we got 3 stacks of images here, average. So the noise figure has dropped quite a lot. I'm tempted to turn up the sharpness a little bit and see if we can pull more detail out of this. So let's give it a try to that. Dewey, this is at F8. There's no more focal reducer. This is full horsepower of the camera, if you wish. Yeah, Dewey, you just missed M16. We had M16 in there earlier. And this is only a 5-second exposure, by the way. Nice pinpoint stars right across the field. Thank goodness for the Ritchie optics. Boy, oh boy, are they ever nice. And this camera just blows me away here tonight. I never expected these results at F8. Thank goodness the mount is working good. Oh man, oh man. I'm going to save another dent in the sledgehammer. That's good. Prevent another dent, that is, in the sledge. So I'm glad the mount is behaving perfectly tonight. Understood there, Dewey. Okay, we're going to jump to another target, I guess, and going to stop the stacking here, the average stacking of 4 frames. This is very reasonable. Go back down to 2 seconds, so if we send this to another target, we'll be able to see it. Here's 2 seconds, and the gain's at 100. That's pretty cool. Oh, hang on a sec. Something else here too, forgot to knock out. Default the gamma, and there you go. Okay, I'm going to need to readjust that a little bit because the light pollution here from Ogdensburg, New York is just horrible. It's not as bad as, I don't know which one's bad is worse, Giant Tiger or Ogdensburg, New York. Doesn't matter really. We'll get to penetrate that fairly well. Alright, hang on. Hang on and see another target. Okay, something's wrong. That's not the object that I wanted to look at. Okay, we'll go somewhere else. Don't know, just want to go to the right place. Whoa! Okay. I didn't think we'd pick that up at F8. Alright, here we go. We're going to bump that up to about, I guess 10 seconds should do it at F8 to pull enough detail out of this. So let's see what we're going to get out of it. This is F8. Well, I can't wait to try this on the 16-inch at F10. Wow. Okay, this is too much gain, so we're going to need to lower the gain to about, I would say, 39 or so.
Hey, Tom.
let's lower that a little bit more.
There's one right behind you.
Oh my God!
Come.
Wow.
Turn around, fella.
I can't believe it, how well this thing is working.
There's one right behind you.
Okay. Quite impressive,
Oh my God!
I'll say.
Come on, turn around, fella. Come on. There's one right behind you.
Pardon me. No, it's not zoom. This is the full resolution at f8. Hang on a sec. I'm just trying to do a bit of adjustment here. Just bear with me for a moment. I'm just trying to touch up the contrast and the gamma a little bit. The red seems a little hot somehow, so what I might do is lower it down a bit to -20. Because of the light pollution in the background, this is what I'm trying to lower a little bit. Just a sec. Just bear with me for a moment. Whoop. There we go. What have I got now? Okay, let's bring that gamma down a bit. There you go. This is very nice, and we certainly can do the average stacking, and should be able to get something pretty nice here. We could zoom it in. Here's the zoom in. Which is going to stack a couple of frames averaged. Average stacking will get rid of the noise we're having a bit from the progressive scan sensors. And this is only 10-second exposure at f10. f8, I'm sorry. Getting late a bit. Both eyes the same socket here. I normally get up at 3 in the morning to go to work, but I don't have to tomorrow. Very nice. I really like what I'm seeing here tonight as far as resolution is concerned, resolving power especially, and wow. Light pollution is an issue, as everyone can see. The red background is caused by that infrared reflecting back on thin clouds or haze just above us, or general light pollution. When I moved here, I had skies of about 6.2 magnitude. If I'm doing 4.5, 4.8, I'm very lucky. Now this is nice, and here we'll make it fit to the window. This is very intriguing. Well, I certainly got what I wanted to see. This is most impressive. Very impressive results. Very powerful camera. On any optical system, really. I can't wait to try this on the 16-inch. I think this is going to blow away a lot of things that I've ever seen with it. I only wish to make a black and white version of this. Sony won't come out with a black and white of this. They're only going to do the color version of it. So, but then again, it's just amazing to see such sensitivity in a color sensor. We do have hang on a sec. We got black conversion here, black level. Let me see what we could do with it. Oh, I see. All right. There's a slider adjustment called black level. If you put that to 0, your background becomes darker. So this is quite intriguing to use. This is quite interesting for results. Yeah, black level down to 0 will give you the background that you need. It's like a light pollution filter electronically selected. This is pretty cool. Okay, Rodney, thank you so much for coming over here, and David as well, I guess. And I don't know if anybody else gonna hang around. Okay, sounds good, Dewey. I'm gonna be pulling the plug myself. I'm amazed at how this thing is working out. And Jack, next time you use the camera, go to the black level. It's right below the dark field and flat field correction. Go below the black level and put the default is 3. Put it at 0. And you'll see what's going to happen. The whole background gets much darker, which means I would be able to do even better most likely using just a gamma and a contrast. Here, let's add a bit of contrast here. Good night, Jim. Thank you so much for being here. Wow, look at that. This is cool. Here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to push this up to 15 seconds exposure instead of with those settings and see what kind of result we're going to get. So we'll jump from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. Oh, no, it doesn't like it. All right. I think 10 seconds was the one. We're going to leave it the way it is. There you go. Very intriguing indeed. Let me verify here the histogram for a moment. I'm just going to play with the histogram a little bit here, folks, and experiment. Wow. Okay, I'm going to try stacking 4 frames quickly here to see what kind of result we want to get. Oh, there's so many ways you could set that up. It's unbelievable. The power of this software is just amazing. And here's one thing I really, really like at F8. I'm starting to get addicted to this F8. I wish I had a 10-inch version of the RC, but now I do have a 12-inch RC that I could mount on this mount, and actually F8 12-inch might give us what we want as far as magnification and high resolution is concerned. Wow, this is most impressive. Okay, let me put back the histogram to default. I'm going to close that, and one thing I'd like to try is this. I've never tried that yet, but I think we're going to try it out. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop the exposure. We're going to turn on the video mode, go back to video mode at 2 seconds. Okay, we're going to stop the stacking briefly, and let's go back to video mode. There we go. Let's try 2 seconds. All right, and put back the gamma at default. Increase the gain to 71. This is 2 seconds. Is it? Yeah, 2 seconds. Here's what I want to do. Let's try this out. Okay. I'm going to do additive stacking, 5 of them, of 2 seconds. Let's see what kind of result we're going to get. It says additive stacking. This is a 2-second shot. I got everything turned down so we don't overblow the image. Taking a little longer than expected, because the stacking like that, additive, it requires a little bit more calculation. There we go. Here's 3 images. Here's 5. Here's 5. So obviously it's way too overexposed. So we don't need additive. This is not the way to go. Okay, folks, that is it for me. It's 12:30 just about. I would like to thank everyone that stopped by, and we had a lot of fun, and we discovered something new tonight. A very successful run, and at F8 without focal reducer, it's a big enough chip to give us a field of view. It's sensitive enough to use with any scope at any F ratio, basically, for deep sky, and the result is just amazing. Excellent test, yes. Nino, Will, Michael as well, Jason, and David, of course. I think you're going to have fun with the camera, David. I can't wait to put this on the 16-inch and Alta and see what kind of result we're going to get at F10. Never mind the focal reducer. I'm dying to find out. Okay, folks. Once again, thank you very much for stopping by, and we will see you on the next broadcast. Most likely tomorrow night if it's clear. Okay. Have a good night, everyone.